Well, you guys will have to excuse my bad lighting. I forgot my ring light at home. I'm on location at my cousin's house up in Vacaville, Fairfield area. And, you see this is way different than the way that things look at when I'm at home. But what we're doing tonight is a Christmas Eve special show for all you single people. So what we're going to do is take your advice questions like we did a few weeks ago. You make a $8 Cash App or SuperChat, you know, contribution. I don't know what you want to call it. And then you get your question answered right here, right now. The difference between this and what the Fuck Tuesday is when you send those questions in, we do not guarantee that your question will get chosen that week, the next week, or ever. Okay, we don't do that. So there's a pattern to it, and my cousin picks some, the way that she thinks works the best. Like where I am now is my cousin's on my mom's side, and that cousin is on my dad's side, but she does the column for me. And so if you have something that's really, pressing that you need an answer to right now, this is a great bargain because usually if I send an email advice question, it's at least, a question like that, it's at least $25. So this $8 thing is a great deal. Now let's see, I'm going to enlarge because I have to use my laptop. There we go. I want to enlarge the typing so I can see you guys, what you guys are typing better. There we go. Merry Christmas to you too. Can everybody hear me okay? This is my headset that I usually use in my car. Are you hearing me? No? Yes? Let me check something right quick. Huh. Okay. Oh, this is my first on location thing, so um, no, I'm back. I'm here. drama. Drama. Okay, hopefully we got things back. Yeah, I had to reboot. I had to go all the way out. At first, I tried just going out of StreamYard. That didn't work, so I had to reboot the entire computer. It just, I don't know what happened. But anyway, I guess I won't be doing too many on location things because this is this is not fun. It's stressing me out. Oh, you think it's the rain? Oh, I didn't even think of that, DP. You're probably right. Okay, so the volume's good now. All right, let's start. Let's get started. Geez, while we're still in motion, let's get started. So anyway, well, tonight we're going to do kind of a combination show. So I have some questions, like just like a What the Fuck Tuesday, because we have a lot of questions that we never got to. So you just pull some of those, and then. But if you have a question that you want to get answered tonight, you need to know right now before the holiday season's over, before the first of the year. A lot of people have breakups in their relationships around this time of year. You know why? Because a Dusty don't want to buy you a Christmas present. And then right around after Valentine's Day, here they'll come. Oh, I missed you so much. So they have to miss Christmas presents. They don't have to be with you on New Year's, and they miss Valentine's Day. So they come around at the end of February talking about, oh my God, I missed you so much. Let's get back together. This is not another setup. I'm at my cousin's house. I'm away. So I'm on my laptop, which is, it's not my friend. So there you go. That's what's going on. So anyway, so you have a question, you do the $8 Cash App thing, and then you will call, you will put your question either in there, or let me get the link going here, or you can call in with it. If you have a headset on your phone or computer, then you can just call in and tell me your question verbally. And if if it's pretty involved, that's probably a better option because you can only type so many characters, and not everybody types 100 words a minute like I do. So some people be taking a long time to get their questions out. So if that's the case, it might be better for you to just call in. It's audio only. Do not turn your camera on, and you can get your question answered that way. All right. All right, so let's get started. I have a couple of, like I said, I have some questions that I pulled from the archives. Most of them are really long. So that's why we probably, they didn't make it into the column because they were just excessively long. But today is not really a What the Fuck Tuesday, so we don't have those restrictions. But here's the first one. This is from a young lady in Long Beach, California. And she says, what if my boyfriend can't accept my past and keeps asking me to tell him everything? If I do, he might not get over it. But if I hide things and he finds out later, I could lose him for good. How much do I tell him? You don't tell him anything, young lady from Long Beach, California. Okay, did you ever ask him why he wants to know about your past and with other men? My thing is when dudes be asking about other men, it's like, why, you want to sleep with him? Are you trying to figure out what his stroke game was like so you can go and get you some? There would be no reason in this world for you to be asking about what another man did, how he did it, when he did it, or where. There's no reason for you to ask that unless you have some proclivities that we might need to discuss before we continue this relationship. But she's young. She's in the 22 to 27 age group. She's probably 22 and not that much experience. So, she did have enough sense though to think about, the two flip sides of the coin. And so she's like, well, if he keeps asking me, he might not get over it. Of course he won't. And then if you don't tell him, then how is he going to find out? What's he going to do? What is he going to do? Go around and ask every man in Long Beach? Do you know her? Did you sleep with her? Did you date her? Is that what you think he's going to do? My advice in situations like this is don't never tell a man anything. You could ask him because you really should need to know. Why is it that you think you need to know that? Because I would be curious. Well, why do you think you need to know that? And then whatever he tells you, say, well, I'm not going to tell you anything about what happened with other men because it's irrelevant. What you're supposed to be doing is making sure that your presence is felt, not asking them all worriedly and insecurely about some other man. So if that's really what you want to do, then there's the door, get out. Because I don't have time to be bothered with somebody like you. So that, I mean, because otherwise, just like you say, he keeps asking you over and over. So he's not going to let up, and it's going to continue to be a thorn in your side. If you don't want to be bothered with a man who's that insecure and, you know, that trying to dig up all the dirt on you he can so he can throw it in your face later, you don't really want to be bothered with anybody like that. And I know you're young and you don't have enough experience to know that, but that's the deal, okay? That's question number one. So if you have a question, remember this is a question where you can get your questions answered as well as you're going to be hearing these. This is just for us to get together so that you single people along with me, well, I mean, I'm here with them. We're about to go over to my other cousin's house and I guess have some drinks or whatever, but I have to do this while I'm still sober because otherwise you don't know what might come out of my mouth. And you were vague. Exactly. That's what you do, girl. Just spin them around with your words. Like a little, what they call them? Little tornado. Okay, here's another one. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, okay. This one is like 2 pages. Okay, here we go. This is a longer one. Oh, never mind. I have a question. Let me sit that down because you are a priority. Okay, so she says, what is your opinion? Sorry, you don't have to lean in because this is a laptop and the writing is small. What is your opinion of a person who has and cold personality, warm and friendly at times, and then cold and distant other times without rhyme or reason? Has that person been diagnosed as being bipolar or schizophrenic? I'm not being facetious. I mean, do you know? You might not, you know, be that privy to their mental health issues, but there's a couple of reasons why. Actually, I think I did a video on this very topic, A. Rogers. You might want to take a look at that as well. But just, you know, because you asked, I'm going to give you the possibilities. One is that, like I said, they have mental illness and they need to be on meds. Okay. Okay, so then not that you know of. Okay, so then we'll nix that idea. The other one is that, and this is the usual one, is that they do it on purpose. They do it with intent because it's a way to throw you off balance. And they don't want you feeling too comfortable or secure in the relationship. They like having that feeling of you being worried and trying to please and placate them and jump through hoops for them and stuff because you're trying to please them. You're trying to get back, just like in an abusive relationship, that the good feeling that, you know, when they were treating you well, you're trying to get that person back. So you will go over and above to make them, try to make them happy or help them get over their bad mood and all that kind of stuff. It's with intent. They plan it and they do it on purpose. So usually when, you know, I have guys that do that kind of stuff. Let me like right on the dates. And as soon as they do that, I'd be like, well, I guess if this date's over, it's about time you could take me home. And they'd be like, well, why? I said, well, you gonna sit there and not talk, or you know, you don't have nothing to say. You acting all sometimey with your answers, you know, the little short one-word answers and all this kind of stuff. Like, you mad? I don't have time for this. I was supposed to come out to have a good time. So I put on my outfit and my heels and all this, did make my hair and makeup and stuff. I didn't come out to look at you with your lips stuck out and giving me one-word answers. Take me home. So see, that's how you flip it back. And so you don't play the game. Don't play it. And if you know, anytime that they are warm and friendly, then you be warm and friendly. When they're cold, you give that right back. Check out my video on mirroring. That is key to handling men like this that want to play these kind of games. You mirror exactly the behavior and the attitudes that they show you. That's all you give them, okay? So you don't ever try to jump through a hoop. You don't ever try to please him, figure out what's wrong with him, ask him why you acting like that, all that kind of stuff. You don't care. What you do is you get in your car and you go home. Or you go and get in your car and go hang out with your girlfriend, some people who know how to act. Stuff like that. You don't even concern yourself with that. And then when they see that it doesn't work, they'll stop doing it. They only do it as a way to get you to behave in a certain way towards them. Just remember that. Okay, it's with intent to manipulate and control your behavior and make you feel insecure, because a person who's insecure and trying to please a man is easier to manipulate. That is the number one. So if they see that they can throw you off like that and get you, being all concerned and stuff, then they're going to continue to do that because it worked. But if it doesn't work, then they'll stop because they're not getting the desired response. All right? So hopefully that ends. But like I said, check out the mirroring video and the one, I don't remember what it's called. I think, maybe it's called When He Runs Hot and Cold. It might be something just like that, When He Runs Hot and Cold or something like that. But anyway, you'll see it. You'll see it there. Okay? But that was a good question, because that happens a lot, especially this time of year, when they don't want to give people presents. They don't want to be with you on a holiday. They don't want to be around your family. So they create that, that distance and stuff. It's a classic game. All right, let's move on to this question number 2. We'll be taking some more of your questions. Let me do this one first, because I don't want to miss anybody's question, okay? This young lady is also in the 22 to 27 age group. She's from Portland. I have a box of money that I keep in a drawer. I work as a waitress. I get a lot of tips in cash, and I don't always put it in the bank right away. I'm writing to get ideas about what to do about my boyfriend of 7 years who keeps going into my box of money and taking some without my permission. You need to know what to do. Shoot him. Shoot him. Oh, okay. Hold on a second, Lee. Let me mark my place. Oh, shoot, where's my pen? Oh, I don't know where I put it. Okay, so here's another question from Lee. What do you do when someone doesn't want a long-distance relationship with you, but he likes you? I want a relationship with him. Should I continue to see him? No, because he's already told you that he doesn't want a long-distance relationship. And that means he wants someone who is what I call geographically desirable. And that is the problem with the internet dating thing. People be calling themselves having a boyfriend or girlfriend that lives on the other side of the world. I mean, that might be nice, when the days when people used to have mail order brides and stuff. So you exchange letters for a couple of months, and then the dude sends for you a ticket on the next steamboat, and then you go to where he is, and then he marries you. Okay, that's how it used to be. But these days, people want to have what they consider to be a relationship with somebody who lives thousands, either several hundred, which is, not bad enough, like from Northern California to Southern California. That's long distance. That's like 700-800 miles, 900 miles, just in the state, because it's, narrow and long. Or you could go, coast to coast here in the U.S., or you could go even overseas. Those are all long distance relationships. The problem I have with those, though, is that people get into relationships for companionship. You get into it for warmth, for comfort, for, the affection, the day-to-day, doing stuff together, the partnership. And if you are in a long distance, you only see this person once every 3, 4, 6 months or whatever it is, it's not every day. That component of what makes a couple strong and a relationship strong is missing. And you can't do anything about it. All the Zoom and all the stuff is great. It does bridge some of the gaps, but you cannot touch anybody through a computer screen, through your phone screen. It doesn't work. So at some point, the loneliness takes over, and people are more vulnerable to what I call local talent. So somebody's gonna catch their eye that can do all those things with them, that can go to the grocery store with them, go watch movies with them, Netflix and chill with them, go to the bar and have a drink with them, go out to dinner with them, hold their hand, kiss on them, hug on them, walk arm in arm down the street, through the park, go play snowball fights with them. You can't do any of that stuff because you're not there. And that is the problem with long distance relationships. Well, you might be, but if he's not willing to date you though, Lee, you don't want to do that. You don't want to change your entire life on a maybe. You don't do that. You know what that looks like to him? Desperation. Don't ever do that. He's already told you, girlfriend, come on now. He told you he doesn't want that. He's not interested in that. So nothing that you say after that is going to change his mind. The most that you would be doing is setting yourself up to be a booty call when he rolled through town or, whatever, something like that. That's not what you want. You want somebody to love you. You want a commitment. And you're not going to get it from this guy. He's flat out told you. He's not even trying to play games with you. He's very honest and open and real about his feelings and his desires. Please respect it. Okay? Take care of yourself. Heal, mourn, whatever you got to do. But let that go, because he's flat out told you, I don't, that's not what I want. And so he's making himself emotionally unavailable with that statement. All right, let's see, Bell 8. So if a couple goes through an annulment and they see they still love each other, but she doesn't want marriage, can they have a long-lasting relationship? Okay, they still love each other. She doesn't want to be married, and they already got an annulment. Okay, I'm going to say, my question is, what is the point? Because the relationship that you have with that same individual is going to continue to be the same as it was that you ran away from with an annulment. He's not going to change. You're going to still love him the same. He's going to still love you the same. If you were just going to still stick with the dude, what you get an annulment for? Was he like using drugs or something? What was the reason for the annulment? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? You still love him. Well, then if you loved him, why didn't y'all just go to a marriage counselor or something and get, work that out, whatever the confusion was, before you got an annulment? That's a very drastic step to turn around and say, well, but I still love him, though. I still love him, though. And you want to still have a relationship with the guy. My classic question, where they do that at? So I am confused about what it is that you two are looking for, and why, if you have all this love and you still want to be committed to each other, why the heck did you get an annulment? What are you doing with your life like that? I'm confused. Well, there may be deeper issues, but that's what I'm saying. If there are deeper issues, then getting that annulment is what separated you from that person and the issues. Why go back to that situation? That's where I'm lost. I'm just, okay, the whole thing is very confusing to me. If it's so jacked up that you get an annulment, then you're supposed to move on. You don't go circle back to that same person, that same love, that same situation, that same emotional, confusion, and then think it's going to be different. He hasn't changed, and neither of you. I think you need to rethink this love, because I'm going to tell you, and being married, even in a dating relationship, love is a very microscopic part of the equation. It's great. It does help you in those rough times when you look at them and you think, okay, love, is that what I'm feeling right now? But you have to, I think what's more important in a marriage, the love, it kind of ebbs and flows. Some days you just love them so much you want to be in their body with them, and other days you just want to drop kick him to the moon. But, you don't, because that would involve prison sentences and very unpleasant things like that. But that's just the nature of marriage and long-term relationship. It's in, out, in, But what keeps you there, what keeps you with that person is your commitment, your respect of each other, your respect for each other's family, your respect for your children. And those things take priority. And those things are what you focus on. And those are the things that, kind of give you a leg up through the rough spots. But you guys are already through that. You already ditched each other. So running back to that, to me, makes no sense. Okay? His mother was a narcissist and wasn't accepting. Okay, well, guess what? That's still his mother. and she's still not accepting. So why are you there? Don't you want to be loved by somebody whose mother adores you? It's great. It's like having a second mother. And sometimes they even take your side over their sons because they know he's raggedy. But, you know, if you have somebody who hates you from the get-go, that's a person really, Bell 8. You should move on from that. I mean, you can, you know, care about that person and all of that, but do you continue to involve yourself emotionally to the point where you cut off other opportunities? I'm going to say that would be a foolish path to take, okay? That, to me, makes no sense. Okay, now I want to get back to this young lady who's got the boyfriend who's thieving her money. This sounds like it's going to be juicy. Okay, together 7 years. He keeps going into her box of money. She works as a waitress, so she gets cash tips. The first time happened about 3 years ago. My boyfriend paid for my stuff at some store, and when we got to my house, he went into my box and took out what I owed him. It really rubbed me the wrong way. I told him I didn't like how he did that, especially since I wasn't in the room with him. I got super upset, and then he apologized and said he wouldn't do it again. I fast forward to a few months ago. We're now living together. I would still have the same box. I keep it inside one of my dressers along with my jewelry. So my boyfriend casually says to me that he took out some cash from my box and that he'll pay me back when he has the cash. Again, I got super mad and told him not to do that, and that I asked him before not to do that like a long time ago in our relationship. He said he was sorry and he wouldn't do it again. Okay. So today I got home from working a double and went into the shower. Everything was awesome. He was in there with me and we were laughing. I go into our bedroom and notice that my dresser drawer was open where my money box is. I called him in and asked him if he went in it. And he's like, oh yeah, I thought I was going to need cash for that thing on OfferUp and I wanted to get smaller bills. Nothing's missing. I got really mad and told him firmly that I don't care if anything's missing. It's the fact that this has happened multiple times, even when I've asked him not to. And he keeps saying sorry and that he effed up. I don't trust him now, and I really want to pretend like this isn't a giant red flag. He's got into my box of money without my permission on 3 separate occasions that I know of. I can't help but think accidentally leaving the drawer open was a sign. But I don't want to take that sign. Are you hearing what she's saying? She knows it's a red flag. She knows it's a sign that he's just not trustworthy, but she don't want to hear it. We have a cat together, like you can't get another one. I love our apartment. I love not living with my family. I'm not sure what to do. I need advice. Okay, so let's go over this. Oh, he respects her, but he's one of those kind of people that, and I've dated people like that, very briefly. They have, you know, and you have to look at people's family dynamics. See, and like I said, in my family, I was the only girl, and we were always raised to respect each other's property, each other's rooms, everything. We don't mess with other people's stuff. Our parents, trained us that way. In other families, people go in other people's rooms. They take their stuff. Their sisters will just grab something out of their sister's closet and wear it to school or to a date or something without asking them. They take their mother's stuff, jewelry and stuff. I mean, this is kind of a thing like some people are just raised that way. This may be something that's going on here. However, I'm just saying that might be why he's not getting it. The other issue is, though, the main thing for me is that she specifically asked him not to do it. So no matter where he was raised and what kind of behavior he's used to from his family of origin, the bottom line is she has said that I don't want you to do this, without asking me. And he's not asking. He's just doing it anyway. So what you should do, lady, I know you don't want to accept this as a red flag, but I mean, you say this is what you know of, so unless you count your money every day, he could be taking, $20, $40, $10. You wouldn't know. I mean, he could be doing this a couple of times a week for months, and you wouldn't necessarily miss it because you don't count the money every day. Okay, so he says he was sorry and he won't do it again. I think I read that 3 times, right? because you asked him not to do it 3 times. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I effed up. Okay, yeah, 3 times. And then, this thing is, he went in there again, but he didn't tell you again. You saw the open drawer. That's what made you, you know, she has a savings account. What she said is she can't, because of her work schedule, she cannot make it to the bank every day. Right? And that's the kind of thing, especially if you at night, a lot of ATMs will take cash deposits, but you don't want to be there with a wad of cash at the ATM by yourself at nighttime in the dark. No, that's not a good idea. So what I'm going to suggest, young lady, is you go on Amazon.com. They have home safes. Get you one. Get you a home safe. Get the kind that's fireproof, since you have cash. It's not really fireproof, but it has, like, they're coated with this. Inside they have a layer that's about this thick of this fire repellent material. So it can last even in like hot flames for like an hour or two before, you start having some damage to the materials inside. So they're pretty expensive, so you probably have to save up for it, but that would alleviate all of these problems, like in one fell swoop. You do not tell him the combination to it. Okay? If you have that little, they send you the tag that comes with the safe that tells you what the combination is, you're going to, I don't know, mail it to your house or something. Somewhere where you can reference it, but it's nowhere at your house. Or rent, I don't know, a poster of what you call them boxes, a safe deposit box at the bank, and put it in there. You could do that too with your money, but again, that requires you to be available during banking hours, which may or may not be the case. I'm thinking the safe is the best option for you. And put that in the closet and start putting your money. And then you leave the box in the dresser drawer empty. And watch and see how quick he asks you about that. How come you're not getting any money in your in the box? Like, oh, I don't use that anymore. Personally, after he took my money, okay, the first time you owed him some money, he should have asked, he didn't, but that you did, that was a fair thing, because he had spent money, like fronted you some money, and then he got his money back. Okay, that one's kind of hard to argue about, except for the fact that he didn't ask you. But so we'll split that 50-50 on that one. That second one though, where he just went in there and just helped himself, nah. That to me would be grounds for a breakup. One thing you're not gonna do is take my stuff. We don't do that. It's like I had a male roommate at one point, and one of his girlfriends went into my room, and my father had bought me this perfume called Panthère de Cartier. It cost like $150. It was like the most expensive perfume I'd ever had in my entire life, and still to this day. And the stuff was so concentrated. It was, real perfume. You only need like a dash of this stuff. Do you know this heifer used like 1/10 of the bottle in one? I could look at how much it had gone down, and my whole room reeked of it. And I'm like, what, dude? And I knew it had to be somebody connected with him. And so he's like, well, yeah, my girlfriend, this and that, and I thought I smelled that you use on her, and blah, blah, blah. I said, you owe me $150. And I made him give it to me. So see, I'm like, like I said, I've never had to share my stuff. And I really see no reason why your girlfriend, I'm not sleeping with her, that's you. You want her to have $150 worth of perfume, you're supposed to get off your butt and buy it. But, he didn't, so he gave me the money. We didn't have any problem, because he smelled it on her. He knew it was my scent. So he knew right away where she had got it from. And then when I complained, he was like, oh, no, this was me. Gimme. So anyone else have a question? The question, oh, yeah, let me see. I made a banner for it. Let me put this up so y'all can see. Let me see, where did I put it? Hold on. I'm not used to this tiny screen. Okay, here we go. That's it. Those are instructions for submitting your question So if you have something that's been bothering you, maybe something that just happened this week, and you want to get clear on it so you know if you're going to be single on New Year's Eve or not. You know, these are burning questions. So if you have one, this is the time. Just go on in with the super chat or with the Cash App, either one. And plus, you know what? Oh crap, where's my phone? Well, if you do Cash App, just let me know. I don't know. I left my phone. I think it's in my purse in the other room. So that wasn't very intelligent, but whatever. Okay, so that was an interesting question. That poor girl, she has some issues. Okay, I'm looking at some of these. These are really weird. Okay, here we go. Here's one that sounds interesting. This is for those of you wandering in. This is a combination What the Fuck Relationship Advice Tuesday show, which we do every Tuesday, and getting private and personal advice right here on the spot. So it's kind of a hybrid show, which is kind of interesting. We might do this more often. All right, now this is from a guy, 35 to 41 from Louisville, Kentucky. He says, this may sound weird, but for all of my life, I've had a very strong fear of dying. I am 37 and a white male, but I love your show, so I'm writing to you. It's weird, Deb, but my fear of dying gets triggered by things I see on TV or read online, like about someone dying. I can't understand the idea of ceasing to exist, not thinking, feeling, seeing my loved ones, the universe going on without me. Yes. When I get triggered, I have a panic attack. I had one the other night and it was scary. This happens every few months. I calm myself down by thinking I will go to heaven and see everyone I've ever loved and stay there for eternity. Do you know if anyone else has ever expressed this fear? How do you recommend that they deal with it? I'm going to tell you something you might not like. But when I was growing up, my own daddy, thank you, my Christmas present, you know I'm going to be online shopping. My father used to say that was why white people were so anxious to get to the moon and find other places to live and doing like cryogenics, you know, freezing of the bodies and all this kind of stuff, because he says white people are afraid of dying and they want to live forever. He used to say that to me as a little kid. Now, you know how long ago that was. I have seen nothing yet to change my perspective from what he said. The evidence is everywhere. With that said, sir, I'm going to say this. Get your ass to a psychologist. You know, because this is the reality. The second you took your first breath when you got born, you started dying. How's that for a way to fuck up your day, okay? That's the reality, though. You know, you shouldn't have wrote to me looking for sympathy on that, because I'm like, what's the problem? You think you know what? And there's like these old people that have money, right? These old rich white men, 90-something years old. Do you know that they will buy organs to get an organ transplant to try to live another 2 weeks? Instead of giving that to a young person who could live for another, 50 years with it? No, they must have it. They feel like because they have money that and they're, got whatever, that they deserve to have it and that they should have an opportunity to continue to live it. You in your 90s, sit down somewhere and dry up and blow away. Just end this. Okay, you look raggedy anyway. Nobody trying to look at all of them wrinkles and stuff you got. Veins sticking out and stuff, looking nasty. Put yourself in a casket and just call it a day. Juice out with some dignity. Now you, sir, having panic attacks and stuff like that, that's a sign that you need to go get you some mental health treatment. That is not normal, okay? It is normal for people to be concerned about their dying days when they have been diagnosed with some kind of terminal illness. They start putting things in place, making new wills and, cleaning out their house, giving away valuables to people that they want to have them and stuff. They start tying up all their loose ends making amends to people, apologizing to people, telling people that they maybe never said that they love them. You know, they do stuff like that. They start tying up the loose ends of their life on this plane. You, though, are just like, you know, just putting yourself into a frenzy over the fact that you're going to die. You know what? Everybody's going to die. You know what? Everybody goes pee-pee, too. Did you ever think of that? You eat, you go pee-pee, you poo-poo, and you die. It's just inevitable. There's no way around that. You have a question about the video? Well, if it's a question about the video, I might be able to answer it. But if you have an advice question, those are $8 tonight, Yellowstorm. That's what we're doing. You think it's very common? I know it's common, but I've never heard people who are perfectly healthy, you know, in their 30s or something, worrying about dying when they have no reason to. He just looking into the future. This is like a first world problem for real, because he don't have no real problem, so he's creating one out of thin air. Try to live in the hood and on $8 an hour and see how you do. Then you won't be thinking about dying. You won't have time. So let's see. She says, terrible, I know, but how can I be passive aggressive and hateful to a nasty manager at work and not lose my wonderful career? I hate that goblin. Passive aggressive, you know, that is difficult for me because I don't do passive aggressive. I mean, I've seen it, you know, people do it, but we'll have to have an exchange. Just hold that thought, okay, and then write to me at survivingdating@gmail.com. I'll still respond to you, but I'm going to have to do it after you give me, you know, a couple of specific examples, you know, like what happened, what they said, you know, who was there, you know, your interpretation of what they said and why they did it, that kind of thing. I need a little bit more information. You know, like in the advice letters, how people always write paragraphs and paragraphs. Sometimes it's good because it gives you a really good idea of what they're talking about. But you guys having the same issue, too many head trips? See, I need to know the juicy details. But yeah, just write me so I have time to analyze what you're talking about, and then I'll give you a script. Yeah, that's Josie. Thank you. That's what I was talking about. I just remembered he was in his 90s, and he was just kept getting, you know, he was getting organs that should have been going to someone younger and more deserving. But because he had the money, you know, he could get them. And, you know, there's all these stories about little kids and young people disappearing in other countries, you know, parents selling their kids and all kind of stuff is going on about organs for rich people in Europe and America. It may have been read and you just missed it. If you got a note from Candace, did you get a response back from Candace? Then it was whatever that week is, it was probably in that column. But, you know, you have to listen. I don't know what your letter was or where it was or whatever. But Candace sends like a little graphic or something, and she showed it to me. Some little thing she made. And then she tells, you know, people that their thing will be in the column that week. So I was out with 3 other lady friends, and a waiter gave his number to my waitress to give to me. Another way you said to never call a man first. Yes, I mean, plus only that, I mean, I don't know, something about that is distasteful to me because you're at work and you're trying to worry about your sex life? I mean, I know guys have this thing where they feel like they need to shoot their shot and all this other stuff like that, but see, the only thing he knows about you is what you look like. And, you know, you're there with your friends and you're totally not bothered. I mean, he doesn't know what your situation is. I mean, you have a man? Are you married, engaged? I mean, what's your story? Going through a divorce? Maybe you're not interested in him. He doesn't know. He had no conversation with you, but he just wants you to be acting like you just so desperate. You're gonna be calling random men. They just give you their number through some various miscellaneous third party. No, you good, because I would have left that number right on the table. I don't know. It's just I find that very distasteful. When a man is supposed to be working, he's supposed to be concentrating on, he's a waiter, serving his tables and giving them the best dining experience that they can have for the money that those people are paying and the tip that they're going to be leaving him. That's where his attention's supposed to be. Instead, he's thinking about his day by looking around at you and trying to give you his number. See, that's just me though. I don't get, I can't respect a man like that. I just don't have no conversation for him. I just, that just, I don't know, that just rubs me the wrong way. You have a job that you're supposed to be doing, okay? Do it. That's what you're getting paid for. You're not getting paid to try to come up on a female clientele. And if I was in a real nasty mood, I might give it to the owner of the place or the maitre d', the manager, say, just waiter over here is sexually harassing me. I'm in here with my girlfriends trying to have a meal, and then he's up here trying to slide me his phone number through the other waitress. Highly inappropriate and likely to drive some of your clients away. You need to do something about that food. Nah. There you go. There's some passive aggressive for you. Well, in my thing, that's good. He'll go off with the next lady. I do that because you're not going to be going off nowhere with me. I just cannot with a guy like that. I need a man who's going to be serious about what he's supposed to be trying to do. And that means when you're at work, you're at work. When you're at play, you're at play. When you're with your kids, your attention is devoted to them. You not putting them on the swing or something and going off chasing some woman over there that you saw. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Stay in where you are. Stay present, doing what you're supposed to be doing. I don't do it. Yes, you did good, Yellow. And did you throw the number away? But, it's not too late to take it back to that restaurant and say, this has been bothering me. I've held on to this for a whole month. And then give it to him now. It's not too late. Yeah, they do. But, my whole thing is he could have done all of that. But my thing is no matter what he could have done, we're not talking about what he could do. We're talking about her standards for what she's going to do, right? She is the one who asked the question. Oh, you don't have it? Okay. You don't have a picture? Well, the number, though, to see if he wrote it, that would have been in his handwriting with his name on it. You see what I mean? That's better evidence, shall we say. You know what, E. Dunlop, you all off in Fantasy Island somewhere. You just going all down. We don't come up with scenarios that are not in evidence. That's not how we do advice here. So we're talking about what she asked about, not coming up with some far-fetched fable from our imagination. It doesn't sound like anything like that. The owner of the place, the tips, none of that is even in the conversation. So you all off on something that you created in your own mind. Oh my God. But the bottom line is you as a woman have to have your standards. Okay, you have your standards, your boundaries, what you will and will not do and what you will and will not accept from the kind of treatment that you're going to accept from men. And so, she had the TV up loud. That's what we're talking about. Your standards and how he didn't meet them. All right. Let me skip this. This looks like a stupid thing. Luckily, there's a lot to choose from. What's up, SA? Okay. This guy wrote in. And he says, he's in the 20 to 34 age group, it's out of Boston. And he says, I want to share a thought with you, Deb. I think a lot of men need to realize that game is a necessary tool that is needed to find your partner. I see a lot of men in the real world, online and in the real world, that are against, quote, not being themselves to attract women. And a common theme I see is game necessary? I get it. I'm a heavy introvert, very analytical. As such, vital elements of game, such as externalized presence, confidence, charisma, flirting, etc., go completely against my natural temperament. Notice I said externalized. I am confident internally, but if you did not know me, you wouldn't know that from the outside. I probably come across as introverted, reserved, and that is not inherently attractive to most women. Also, practicing these elements of game is exhausting. There are so many other things I would rather do than work on being charismatic or having a good presence and approaching the opposite sex, flirting, etc. But I've realized over the years that game is a necessary evil for me and for a lot of other guys. What I've learned is that, unfortunately, you cannot negotiate attraction. You must learn game and get proficient at it to vastly increase your chances. We all have to do things in life we don't want to do to get what we want. And no, it isn't just basic social skills. Those are different. Basic social skills is not sufficient. It is similar to being obese. Someone who is obese is not going to be attractive to the vast majority of people, and telling himself, well, I'm not changing my weight just for women, doesn't work, since most women will simply not be attracted to him despite how compatible they may be. You cannot negotiate attraction. What do you think of my theory? Well, that's true. You cannot negotiate attraction. That's absolutely, positively like a Sherlock Holmes duh moment. Now, do you have to have game? No, you don't have to. It depends, though, what kind of woman you're going after. Now, if you're going after a woman who enjoys, the witty banter and, because she's a game player herself, then the answer to that question would be absolutely. If you are going after a woman who's more serious-minded, like you are, she's like very straight to the point, analytical, no, not a lot of fluff and stuff. I mean, she's just direct, assertive, that kind of stuff. She don't have time for silly stuff. Then that kind of woman would not respond well to what you're talking about. She would find you frivolous, and she would be confused at your meaning. You giving messages that have a double meaning and all the stuff that's a part of game. She would not like that because it would make you come across as being kind of flaky, silly, and undependable. She couldn't really pin down where you're coming from. And, women like that, when they feel confused or doubtful about what your intents are, they just leave the situation. They don't ask questions. They just don't negotiate. They don't invest. They just go. So your theory has some merit, but then it's mostly a bunch of bullshit. So there you go. Just get in where you're fitting in. Men, you guys spend too much time trying to think about what to do and say and how you going to, get a woman and convince her and, build attraction like these pickup artists say and all this old stupid stuff. Look, a woman is either attracted to you from the gate or she's not. Okay? If you ask her out and she says no, that means she's not attracted to you. If you ask her to dance and she says no, that means she's not attracted to you. If you ask her for her number and she says no, that means she's not attracted to you. So anything you say after she says no makes you a fool and desperate. I don't know why more men don't get that. Well, come on. Well, why not? Well, I'm a nice guy. All this kind of stuff. All of that lowers your value. It makes you look like a thirsty, just desperate, lonely, just ugh. And whatever way she felt about you at first, even though she wasn't really interested in you as a romantic partner, she may have at least had some respect for you. But once you start down that road, she loses all respect for you because now you're just a dust bucket, a desperado, the lowest of the low, and slime. Okay? But so many of you don't mind putting yourself there. You fry any chance you may have had for her to come back later and change her mind. because you act so fucking thirsty. Nobody's trying to be bothered with you. So, I think more men need to understand that reality. You checking a woman out and she turns her head, don't want to look at you. That means she's not interested. Okay? The girl walking down the street and you got to chase her to try to, hey, Miss Lady, and can I talk to you? And why don't you smile and all that stupid stuff that you like to do? She's not interested. You're ugly, stupid, or you stink, or you look broke. All of the above. You too old. All of those things will come into play, and a woman don't want to be bothered with you. Take a clue and just go move on. Oh, men just waste so much people's time. Yeah, the only thing about it is, you can't really be anybody else but yourself. So why, they spend thousands on those seminars and stuff trying to learn how to, these little scripts that they get told by these pickup artist people and stuff. And it's just so stupid. Just be a person that other people want to be around. That is my number one piece of advice to you, all you dudes. Be someone that a woman would want to be around. Think about how you are. Would you even want to be around you? If the answer is no, then get busy making some changes. I don't know about a savage. I just don't like to waste people's time. It's just like, dude, can't you see? Don't you guys see that when you're out in the public? Right, you walking down the street and you see this dude chasing women down the street, just all thirsty and desperate, trying to holler on the bus and stuff. Nigga, you on the bus, okay? If you was worth anything, you would not be on the bus. You would be riding in something really nice, but you're on the bus. Not only on your bus, you on the bus, not with change like it's a one-time thing because your car's in the repair shop. You on the bus with a monthly pass. That means you plan to be on the bus for weeks at a time. Ain't nobody trying to be bothered with you. The only place that might work is like if you were in New York, because everybody takes the subway. People in the car are stuck there in traffic for days. But everybody on the subway, okay, that's a different. But you just like, the bus though. The bus that grows on the surface in the traffic where the cars are? Nah, son. Yeah, they like to big each other up too. So that's why they get in these little groups, online. They get in these little groups and then they start hoorahing each other up and saying, I have my face looks like it's melted on one side and I have a Quasimodo hump and, my posture's so awful and I look like an eagle standing there with my neck on a crane. You know how they stand and their neck is way out like that? Okay, that's how a lot of dudes' posture is from playing on the video games, right? And their shoulders are rounded, they just look a hot mess. And then they sit there and they feel like, well, because, I have a job and I have my own apartment that, you should want me because I'm like a prime specimen. And it's like the women are looking at you like, have you looked at yourself? Have you tried to have a conversation with yourself? Do you realize how stupid you are? How you talk about stuff that ain't nobody interested in. And you look like a fool. Can you do something with that hair? Clean up them nails. Put on some clothes that make you look like somebody would want to check out. You look like you rolled out of bed and just found some shit on the floor and put it on. Whew, honey, these young men just drive me crazy. They drive me crazy. I've been looking at, what are you doing? It's like, don't your parents tell you, son, you look a mess. Do you really think somebody's going to want to go out with you looking like that? We would love to have a daughter-in-law and some grandkids, but you need to do something with this here. Ain't no girl going to want to look at you. These girls walking around wearing their Manolos and having their $700 designer purses and $1,800 designer purses and designer dresses and stuff. They go get their hair all done, spend $400 on highlights and all this kind of stuff. And then you wearing a T-shirt from U2 from the 80s that you found at Goodwill somewhere and some jeans. And that's what you think you should wear on a date. And then you wonder why she don't want to go out with you the second time. You look like a fool. Don't you? Most of these young men don't even own a sports coat. They don't own any slacks, and like some dress shoes. They all wear sneakers. Or those shorts that come to their knees. I don't know what they call those. They don't own any like a shirt that you have to put a tie on with. They don't even own those. It's just terrible. And so it's like, what are parents teaching their sons these days? All my brothers had suits by the time they were 14 years old. They outgrew them, but they had them. So, parents, you need to teach your sons something about, their presentation. So then when they get ready to go for college interviews and they get ready to go, on dates with, classy co-eds and, they go to places where they're going to be introducing and mixing and mingling with the parents and the daughters, your son will look like something that these people would want their daughter to meet. Because it's not only how you dress, it's how you carry yourself. How you carry yourself, part of it is reflected in how you dress. So you carry yourself and you wear like dirty jeans and old t-shirts and, flip-flops and stuff, and you think that's your hair hasn't been washed and it looks like it needed a haircut like 2-3 months ago, and you just look a mess. You look a mess, and then you get upset that no girl wants to date you. She looks like she probably feels like she needs to give you a flea bath or something. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Well, they feel like anything that they say because, someone with testosterone said it, that does make it the gospel truth. You ain't need a flea bath. It's just terrible. I don't know what to say. You say he put on a striped colored t-shirt. He had acne. His hair was messed up. Faded jeans. That was too big, and sneakers, and looked like he hadn't showered in a week. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. That exact kind of attitude. And they honestly don't know how to dress for a date. And it's just amazes me because they're always online. All they have to do is look on Google, and get some ideas for how to dress. Even if you wear jeans, not baggy ones, some that fit. And then like with a leather jacket, leather blazer. I mean, it's a casual but polished look. Your little loafers or something. And then, your slacks and then, the shirt or whatever. I mean, it could even be like a turtleneck. That's very good looking. You don't have to wear a tie with it, but it looks polished. It looks nice, especially if you got like some muscles, chest muscles and arm. You got some guns and stuff. You know what I mean? And you pull off your jacket and you put it on the back of your chair, and then you got your turtleneck with your little bulk all showing through and stuff. It's like, ooh. And it's a turtleneck, so nothing's showing, but she can get the illusion of the hard work you've been putting in on the gym. It's very sexy. Yeah. They have a mind of their own, that's right. But you know what that mind of their own is doing? Is keeping them single and dateless. And keeping them where no woman wants to even look at them, let alone go out with them. Exactly, Nerly. That's what I'm saying. But, they want to be online and playing video games, but they don't want to look at something that's actually going to help them get to the place that they say they want. Well, they say, well, I want to have a girlfriend. Okay, you want a girlfriend, and you see how the girls are dressing, right? They all put together. But you think that you could just show up and look in any old kind of way and that she's going to be impressed with that? She's going to feel like, oh my God, this is a bum. I don't want to go out with him again. He's disgusting. He doesn't. It looks like dudes like you don't give a shit about yourself or her. Like you didn't even care enough to put in any effort to try to look nice for her. That's what you are communicating. And then you get mad when the girl doesn't want to go out with you again. That's what I'm saying. Would you want to go out with you? Be honest with yourself. Look at how you conduct yourself, how you dress, how you talk to people. It's all part and parcel of the whole package. And if you don't have your package together, then you're just going to be by yourself. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Okay, now here's one. I remember we had one a couple of weeks ago about a woman who wanted a special cake for her birthday. And her boyfriend didn't get it. He made her a cake. Remember that letter? Him and his daughter made her a cake. Okay, this one says, she's from Leeds in Westminster in the UK, 28 to 34 age group. Okay, wait, we'll get to that. I got a question here, Princess. Why do you think black women are taught to lower their standards when it comes to dating? Why are they taught that? Because this is my own opinion, and since you asked me, I feel okay with sharing it. I believe a lot of it is based on Christianity, right? Black women are the most religious demographic in the world. And part of the Christian doctrine is to be non-judgmental, right? And to, all these things that they have about women being, a helpmeet and humble and, all them things that the Bible teaches people to be, teaches primarily women, okay? I feel like those teachings and those behaviors and expectations that are communicated in the Bible are transmuted into romantic life for black women, and they think that they have to, because only God can judge me, right? So with that mindset, you're going to be less willing to judge people and view them as being unworthy, because then that means that you're not having a Christian spirit. You're being judgmental, you're being harsh, cruel. This one of God's children, just like everyone else. Nobody's perfect. We all working on ourselves. You see where I'm going with this? I've heard all those little platitudes from black women about, different situations from the Bible. And I've given this quite a bit of thought, and that's what I thought is comes from. I think it's, those accepting that kind of teaching and those expectations will transfer over into what not just any person that you meet, but particularly to the men that you choose to have a relationship with. You're not going to be judging him because, Jesus, yes, that one. God's still working with you. And that's all the little Dusty has to say. God's still working on me. Jesus still working on me. I pray for, guidance and stuff. So, he's going to feed her the lingo that she wants to hear that's in line with those teachings, like I just said. And there you go. That's what I think. That's what I think. And because of the way that the things that they always say, and how, you have to be humble. You can't play like you you're supposed to be so much better than other people. So if you feel like you're better than, some man and he's not worthy of you, well, then you're wrong, because only God can judge that, not you. You're not, you're born in sin. So, he's just as good as you are. I noticed that applying Christianity to dating has not gotten us anywhere. It's getting worse. Look around me, I see women waiting 15 years for a ring, constant disrespect, and shaming single women. Yep, I wrote about that in my book, which was published in 2012, I think? 2012, called The Black Church Where Women Pray and Men Pray. It's up on Amazon. You can order it there. And it goes very deeply into that. Yeah, that's the title in the book. Well, Where Women Pray, P-R-A-Y, and Men Pray, P-R-E-Y. That's the title of my book. And it was published, I think 2012, because the book is based on was published, I think 2010. That's the one that went viral and had me on all kind of TV shows and everything. Even CNN interviewed me about that article. And then I kind of, expanded it into a book. So the book, like I said, is available on Amazon if you would like to read it. It's called Where Women Pray, P-R-A-Y, and Men Pray, P-R-E-Y. And it's about the game and the nonsense that is the black church. Bunch of garbage. But so many people believe in it. But, the book is merely my perspective. B. Irwin, lots of people. Okay, so let's move on to this. Okay, so this lady was talking, this is from Leeds, West Yorkshire in the UK. She says they're mature adults with great incomes in a long-term cohabitating relationship. We are both white, so you know this is definitely a first world problem. But I know you won't sugarcoat a response, which is why I'm writing to you. So here it is, Deb. I asked my spouse for a specific pie from a specific place for my birthday. Other than dinner and a movie, this is all I asked for, and it is a big birthday. I'm turning 30. I sent a link to the bakery in September, a reminder in November, and tagged him in their posts a few times. He put it off till the last minute, could not get the pie, and instead got me a cake. Deb, I do not like cake. I have never liked cake. When he told me that the bakery was not available 2 days ago, he said that number one, I had told him not to order it too early. Incorrect. I've had a holiday birthday my entire life, and no, shit sells out in advance. And then number two, that the bakery was not selling any pies on Christmas week due to travel. I have not verified this. We are cutting the cake tonight. Should I act happy? I would eat a slice as it would any other gift, but I'm definitely disappointed. Talk me down from my bratty white girl rage. Just so you know, I'm not planning on any sort of tantrum, just trying to figure out how much I should ooh and ah over some what you call crusty ass dessert. Wow. And how much I should choke down. I feel like honesty is the best policy with a partner, but I don't want him to feel like shit either. What should I say to him, if anything? Oh, wow. So he waited till the last minute, even though he had months of advance notice. Plus, he knows her birthday comes around Christmas every year, and he didn't do the one thing that she asked him to do, a pie. My brother was like that, too. He didn't like cakes. He always had a birthday pie, my oldest brother. So it's interesting. I never knew anybody else like that, but I guess now I do. So you say you don't want to throw any kind of tantrum about it. I'm wondering why you wouldn't. I would think that his lack of action, his lack of responsiveness, his total dismissal of that one thing that I don't know, that wouldn't work for me. Maybe it's just me, it wouldn't work for me. Yeah, he had one assignment and he messed it up. One thing, and even though all the reminders she gave him and everything else, and he still messed it up. See, to me, I would take that to mean you wanted to mess it up. You chose to mess it up because you didn't do anything, put any reminders on your phone, call the place and reserve one. You didn't do anything to make it happen. You just left it to chance. And so for me, I would feel so soured about it that I wouldn't want to be bothered with him and the relationship would be over. That would be me. And I don't know. My fuse for this kind of stuff is very short. Especially, what are you doing, dude? Especially, like I said, since he had so much advance notice, there was no reason for him to, you know, for him to not come through. He didn't come through because he didn't want to come through. And so I would not want to be bothered with him. And that would be me. Now, what are you going to, you say you want to know what to say to him? You can't ask me that question because he would have become every kind of MF I could have thought of. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. See, me, I would have got up and said, taken that cake and thrown it at him and said, I hate cake. I've never liked cake. I don't want to eat any damn cake. I wanted a pie. That's the only thing I asked you for. I didn't ask you to take me, do anything spectacular, buy me any big jewelry or nothing. I asked you for one thing, and you can't even do that right. You know what? I'm out of here. So he would run around telling people, no, she broke up with me over a cake or a pie. But in reality, it would be because he doesn't take me and my needs and my happiness is not a priority to him. That's why we broke up. That's the underlying message here. And for me, that wouldn't work. That just wouldn't work. Thanks, meow meow. That wouldn't work. we'd be done. I'd be done here. It's a deuce out moment. Okay. Anybody else got questions? You have a question. This is the night. This is the night. Get your advice question answered right on the air. Right on the air. So you can type it, or you can, click it if you have a headset like this. You can just click and you can just ask the question right here on the show in audio form. We're going to have about 20 more minutes because I have to stop and get ready to go over to a Christmas Eve celebration at my other cousin's house that starts at 8. And we're not that far away though, so 20 minutes should be enough time. But I do want to let you guys know, so don't do like last time. People waited until I was like doing the closing stuff for the show, and then they want to send in a letter. Don't do that. If you have something you want to know, send it in now. Okay, so we'll have time to get to everyone, and then I'll be able to answer your question, and without being too rushed to do it. All right, so that's the dealio. Yeah, I don't think that it's I'm not feeling him at all. I'm not feeling him. Yeah, that's fine, Meow Meow. We have to. I don't see anyone else doing it. Yeah, it's actually red. This is my holiday sweater. Oh, no question. Oh, thank you. Oh, she just giving me a thank you tip. Oh, like a stocking stuffer? Thank you, madam. Yeah, I'm going to put everything together, and I'm going to go on somebody's website and order me some new boots. I need some new ones. I was looking at mine, stuff was like, ooh, these not looking too swift. I mean, they're all right to like wear, just around, but I wouldn't want to like wear them if I had to be around people and, like on a date or some meeting or something like that. I would be like, nah, these look too homey. They've seen better days, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be sure to show them to you guys when I get them. All right, so let me tell while you guys type your letters and do your super chats or CashApps or whatever you're going to do, let me see if one of these, oh, here's something that's kind of interesting. This is a short one. Oh, yes, that's definitely B. Irwin. I'm definitely all over that. Plus, Macy's is having a sale. Oh, there we go. DP with the info. Okay, this is a young man that says, he's 18 to 21. He's from Pinole, California. He says, what does it mean when the girl changes her number after you break up and hasn't contacted you for a week? You must be just barely 18, like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, what it means, Jose Cuervo? No, that's tequila. That's you on the tequila tip talking about that's wine. No, Mr. Bichon, it is not. Okay, let me respond to this little youngster here. Young man, when you two break up, okay, and then she changes her number. She is going, okay, here's like blocking. She's here. That means she really don't want to talk to you. That's what that means. She don't want you to accidentally butt dial her. She don't want you to text her. She don't want you to intentionally call her. She don't want you to give nobody else her number. Nothing. She doesn't want to hear from you or anyone associated with you ever again. So she changed her number, and I like her style. That's what it's supposed to, that's really when you break up with someone, if you don't have the option to change your number, then but if you have a relationship that lasted a little bit, you should change your number because then his relatives have your number, his friends have your number, and it's, how you go, you got 40 people to block and all this old stuff. You might, inevitably, you're going to forget somebody or some friend that you don't even have in your phone because they never called you, but they do have your number, is going to call you. That's why, to me, the best thing is if you have a relationship that lasted for a year or longer, don't just block, change the number, get a new number. Start with a clean slate. But when you get that number, your new person's going to have it and the old person doesn't. That's my own personal belief. That's it. Okay, let's move on. We got another question. I got some more written questions here. Anybody else got a question? You better speak. Oh my God, how long is this letter? Oh my goodness. No way. This is way too long. Let's skip to the back. Let's skip to the back. Okay, here we go. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group from Topeka, Kansas. She says, my boyfriend said that he is concerned about dating me because he said that I have higher value than he does. I was just checking in with you to see if there's anything wrong from his end with our relationship. And he said his only concern is that I'm higher value than him. He said I'm so smart and beautiful and sweet. And he said women usually date up. So he's worried about me divorcing him if I out-earn him or something. No matter how much I tried to reassure him, I don't care about social and financial status or any of those superficial things. He says gives people value. I'm not sure if his concern went away. How can I reassure him that he is the most value to me? And why does he treat my value as a bad thing? Why should it be a threat if we're on the same team? Because you're not on the same team, because you're not married. You're dating. And he's already telling you that he's a dust bucket, low achiever loser. That's what he's telling you. You might not see it that way, but that's exactly what he's telling you. He's never going to aspire to the level of greatness and accomplishment that you do. He's never going to match you. He's never going to try. That's what he's telling you. So, and that's why by saying that you're more high value of him and that you would leave him, he's right. Because you can see that you're a go-getter. And women who are go-getters get bored with men who aren't. So what you should do is listen to him. And, you know, he knows himself. And what he's doing, he's telling you about himself by framing it to look like he's giving an assessment of you. But what he's doing is this is where the wisdom comes in that you don't have yet because you're too young. When people tell you stuff like this and they're trying to analyze you, what you do is flip it and look at what that means for them to view you as that. What does it mean that they're how they view themselves? That's the part that you're missing. So you're focusing on, you know, how do I reassure him this and that? You can't. Don't even think about that. Look at what kind of man would make a statement like that. What's going on in his mind that he would make a statement like that? That's what you need to think about. And then you need to go over to him and say, you know what, I've been giving some thought to the conversation that we had, and where you said that I was more high value than you. And, you know, I think in spite of the fact that I don't really judge people like that, I do understand where you're coming from, and I have to agree with you because I'm on a path to strive to be excellent, to achieve and accomplish, and I don't see where you're on that same path. You're not matching me step from step. And so you're right, and so I'm going to, you know, deuce out, and thank you for being so emotionally aware and there, and, you know, making me aware of the difference in us. And I really hate it because you're just a really great guy, but I think, you know, I have to admit that you're right. That's how you do it. So you make sure that the breakup is his fault, okay? The breakup is all his idea, right? Because he's the one who started the conversation about you being higher value. So, yeah, I agree with you, sir. I agree. Absolutely. You're 100% correct. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. God, this is so different from What the Fuck Tuesday because I do all the letters. This one I get to pick and choose. Yeah, that's the one where this was like super duper long. Okay, let's move on to this one. This young lady is 22. Oh, I'm sorry. She's 22 to 27 as well, but she's from Evansville, Indiana. I feel completely helpless as my boyfriend is making me dig up old messages to prove I didn't cheat on him. Making me. We've been together for around 11 months. I generally am in love with him. I think he's perfect. However, yesterday, as a nice gesture, since I'm away from home, he wanted to play Overwatch on my account to get me the weekly event skins. I thought it was very sweet. I gave him my details and he logged on and immediately saw that I had given some person I was playing with my Discord details. I usually only give it out if people ask because I'm horrible at saying no. I usually just add and delete later. He told me that I was a slimy bee. Wow. And unless I found those messages, he will break up with me. Now I know for a fact I did nothing wrong on those messages. It was just a dumb, awkward conversation with some random. And I was with my friends at the time, so I was just being friendly. He doesn't like me being friendly to strangers, though, which is completely understandable, but hard since online games are so toxic. It's always nice to come across one friendly person. He called me disgusting for sending smiley faces to them in a game chat. Do you think it's worth showing him the messages once I get access to them? Is there any way to diffuse this without having to do that? Yes, it's called breaking up. So what you do, he wants you to show him messages. So you're going to have one of your friends text you a message, or you can text it to you, send it to yourself from Facebook or something, and it's going to say, as of the reading of this message, we are now no longer a couple. Thank you for the time that you have spent. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And then you just deuce out. The main thing is, that bothers me is how you started off this letter saying that he's, quote, making you. Nobody makes you do anything. You choose to do it or not. And in this case, he's being very intrusive and very ridiculous. And I would just not have no conversation with dude. I would have nothing to say to him. And so he'd be asking for the message and say, well, you're not going to get them. So now what you going to do? He's, well, I'm going to break up with you. Okay, bye. I wouldn't be bothered. Exactly, right. And then he's coming up calling her not only a bee, but what did he say? A trifling bee or something? I remember. We've been around together for 11 months. Oh, slimy. A slimy bee. That was what it was. He called you a slimy bee? Oh. Thank you, Mo. A slimy bee. Can you imagine that? Your boyfriend of 11 months calling you a slimy bee. And you still call yourself with him. Okay? And then he doubled down with, you're disgusting, he says. So to me, and then he threatened to break up if you don't do what he wants you to do. Okay, so to me, that's 3 strikes, you out. And he did all 3 of his strikes in one conversation. So, Okay, this is going to be the last call for questions, because I need to be getting out of here in a few minutes. Anyone have a question? But we'll do this again in a couple of weeks. We'll do it one more time before February starts. And then after that, I don't know. We probably could do it one time during February. Depends on how many guests. But the way that I'm looking at things right now, we're going to have a guest almost every day. But I did put a post up on the community wall. I'm looking for some ladies who would like to be, I always have one panel discussion as part of February, the last day or the last day of the month. I get together a panel and we talk about, the state of womanhood for each year. What things have transpired, what's changed positive, what's changed negatives, what we want to work on ourselves and in our groups, in our families, with with our own children, usually with ourselves, and then everyone kind of chimes in and shares. This will be different this year because you'll be able to actually call in and share your thoughts on the show, whereas before you just could type it. Okay, so let's see. A. Rogers says, I love my guy, but we're so different. He's a cusser. He likes, Manny nails, makeup, heels, early bird, TV, sports, hunting. I am the opposite. Can opposites make it? Can. Well, it's going to depend on this, A. Rogers. How much of yourself and your innate nature are you willing to sacrifice for this relationship? Now, remember, I just did a show on that. There's compromise, and then there's sacrifice. It was just a week or two ago. So you should be able to find it very easily. And if you feel like that's within your comfort zone to do those things consistently, because you can't start nothing unless you're going to keep it up now. That's called the bait and switch. So you have to think about that. Is this a lifestyle? Can you see yourself changing the things about you that make you comfortable with yourself to fit his idea of what you should be for many, 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 many years into the future? You have to make that decision. I can't make that for you. And if the answer to that is yes, well, then your relationship might work because you will be changing yourself to fit his idea of what his woman should be. You will be changing your mold to fit that. Me, I know I'm not going to bust a grape, okay? It's like, why don't you get your nails done? Why don't you stick your nails up your ass? How about you do that? And don't worry about what my hands look like. And so then, somebody would just be looking. I prefer to get my feet done than my hands. I don't, probably because I like to look down to see my toes in my sandals and stuff in the summertime. My little heels and stuff. I think I took a picture one time and put it up. I like that shit. But as far as me, with like nails on and all that stuff, I'm not doing all that. I'm going to walk around here with my stubbies and my hangnails and stuff and just look a hot mess and just be unbothered. I just don't care. I mean, sometimes I'll do my nails and, with some clear or some little white frost or something. But I'll do them at home. I'm not going to be paying all that money. So, yeah, they do attract because it's interesting. There's like a tension, a romantic dynamic that you can't get when you're all the same. But like I said, A. Rogers, you have to think about all the stuff that he likes and wants in a woman that you don't offer. But, are you willing to change yourself long term to meet those standards? I already know I would not, so he wouldn't be the man for me. I'm not going to do all those things. If I did it, it would just be a bait and switch because I would do it just enough to get his attention. And then I'd be, switch up and be like, oh, I'm not doing that shit no more. And then he'd be like, but you always did it before. Yeah, well, yeah, see, that's me too. Alexandria, I feel like a boss girl. I'll be wearing all my high heel sandals, even though, So you think about that, girlfriend, okay? And then you make your decision accordingly. But that's the direction I want you to go. And, he could be a really great guy. I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong with him. I'm just saying he might not be the great guy for you because it's going to require a lot of change for you. That's what's happening with them shoes, girl? Yes. I understand. So anyway, you guys, I have to get ready to go because it's, I don't want to be rude and be over at our next host place all late. But let me remind you, let's see, what do we got? The next show is going to be on Tuesday, right? We got What the Fuck Tuesday. And then we're winding down the year. That'll be that'll be our last show. I might do something, closer to the end of the year. But Tuesday right now is the last scheduled show. But this is our show. This is our theme for February and coming up. And we're already booking guests for it. That programming starts February 1st and runs through the 28th of the month. This will be the 5th annual program. 5 years of a video every single day for the month of February. That's what I do for you. And then in March, you won't see me. Now you will, but usually it takes me 2 weeks to recover. I'm telling you, it's a lot. It's an awful lot of work. And but this time I think this word is spreading. So I'm getting more people applying to be guests. And I'm not really having to do much work chasing people down. They're chasing me. So in the meantime, if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscription button, like the video, and share a link. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday, because that's what's coming. What the Fuck Tuesday? It starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time, just like we did tonight. It's our regular weekly advice column that we do every single Tuesday. So you come on and through, and I will see you then. In the meantime, everyone have a wonderful Christmas. I hope Santa brings you all the things that your heart desires and makes all your dreams come true. I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.